those hard moments when you kind of able to take a step back and be like, yeah, this is hard, but like there's so much good coming out of it.
All right. What are we talking about here? We're talking season 2, everybody. Season 2 of the Restoration Club podcast. You've got me and Danny in the place to be. Super excited for 2024 and all that's going to come up. But not only that, but we have somebody special in the clubhouse tonight. We have the #1 Sacramento Kings fan in the world, Shane Wood, a.k.a. the only Sacramento Kings fan in the Restoration Club. And we're happy to have him here. Shane, we couldn't be happier. Shane is in a different time zone than us, but we'll let him introduce himself to you. So, Shane, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me on. It's like feels like an honor. When I got the text and you guys were wanted to have me on, I was like, man, a lot of pressure. But yeah, Shane Wood, 26, currently in Phoenix, Arizona, and so married to my wife Josie. We've been married. I was just thinking about it today. It was like basically coming right up on a year and a half, and so it's flown by. Crazy to think that it's already been a year and a half, but. Yeah, grew up mostly in Montana. Big family. Have four brothers and an older sister, and yeah, just currently working in a family business. Do some roofing. Moved it down here to Arizona. Wife's in law school down here. Coach high school basketball. So right now is like in the thick of it. So every day is like leave the house early, get back, kind of leave when it's dark, get back when it's dark kind of thing. So really busy right now, but yeah, excited to be here.
That's awesome. How's the team this year? Talk to us a little bit.
Yeah, good. It's a change of pace from Montana. So last year I was my first year as a varsity head coach, and so then we felt like God was kind of calling us down here. It's where Josie wanted to go to law school. And so now I'm coaching at a really great school, Scottsdale Christian, and head coaching JV and assistant coaching varsity. So it's been a really good learning experience. So we've had a kind of a roller coaster of a year. We've had some families move right before the season and lost some players, and we've had coaches have to take some time off for different personal reasons and some stuff like that. So but it's been really good. It's been cool to see just how God works through when the craziness of life happens. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, his faithfulness has been everywhere.
Amen. What city are you guys in?
We're just outside Phoenix, so we live in Goodyear. So, okay. and then coach in Scottsdale. So it's like a 40 minute drive every day, and depending on traffic. And
yeah,
so all those are learning experiences too.
I like
Living
it.
with traffic in a big city.
I feel like I got to jump in here. Aside from, swinging the sticks with you, Shane, and obviously the guy is an athlete, we'll just go ahead and call it now. I don't think I knew basketball was in the background. How far back does that go?
Yeah, it goes all the way back to being the youngest and having 3 older brothers and getting pounded in the driveway and running in and complaining to mom and dad about being bullied by my 3 older brothers. But just really my whole life. Growing up playing, played in high school, played a little bit in college, and that's kind of it's just been kind of a consistent thing all throughout my life. So, yeah.
Love it. So first year in Arizona, this podcast might come out by the time we're in the thick of it. Is there anticipation for yourself on a Waste Management Open? Are you going to make it out there?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try. I have a couple people that I've been talking to that have tickets and trying to figure out the dates, but it kind of falls right on our last week of regular season for basketball. So, obviously I would probably be able to make it to like Sunday, but that's also not exactly easy to make happen when when it's as big and popular as it is here. So we're gonna
Sure.
try. We're gonna try.
That's awesome. I was just
Yeah.
seeing somebody was saying, like, they view, this is an opinion of someone, but they view the Waste Management as like the second best golf tournament, even including majors outside of the Masters. And just such a thing
Yeah.
moving. I mean, it's the popularity of that thing has popped off. I mean, shout out to the 16th hole and all the fun stuff, but it's amazing to see what's going on with that tournament out there.
Yeah, it's been interesting to be it's my first time being somewhere where there is not only a tournament but such a popular big tournament. And yeah, it's funny, you can feel it kind of building, and start to see more stuff everywhere and advertising for different things. So yeah, I don't know. It's definitely growing in popularity.
So I guess I'll go ahead and ask both of you, what would the feeling be stepping up on that 16th tee, grandstands, stadium surrounding the hole?
Yeah, I
Now,
mean, if
you go
my
first,
tee shot
buddy.
went anything like the tee shot at the first day of Restoration Club, the would probably not go well. So just probably kind of one of those blackout moments where you're just like standing up there and you don't even know where the ball goes. You don't even know you can't feel your body, anything like that.
I would say for me, man, there's ice water in these veins. I'm ready.
Okay.
But I'll be
No
honest,
biggie.
it's the only good shot I'd probably hit the entire time. I'd four
Yeah,
putt
yeah,
after getting on into that kind of thing. So it would end
yeah.
up with a double bogey guaranteed no matter what would happen. So pretty excited about that stuff. But I love it. How about you, Danny? What do you think? How do you seem always cool under pressure?
You would like to think so. No, I think Shane hit on it. I could probably get up there and stand over the ball and feel like I can't feel my arms or my legs at the same time. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
we try to give it a smooth swing and put it out there.
Yeah.
That's right. I love it.
So
So
Shane,
go ahead.
you talked about, even entering a basketball season. Obviously, you just made a big life move in the last year.
Yeah.
You hit on God's faithfulness and just the steadfastness in the midst of change. Where
Yeah.
does that lens come from for you, and what does that kind of look like in making that big of a transition recently?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We've had, I'd kind of moved around a decent bit growing up. Whereas my wife was, born and raised in the same city in Montana, and kind of had always been there. And so, we've throughout our relationship and the first part of being married, we've had a lot of different changes that have happened. And, I probably handle change a little bit better than her. Like she, don't even say the word change. Like she loves the consistency, but, I think it's just been really cool we've been able to kind of find a really good foundation of people who have made it really easy, kind of found some community, and we've just felt kind of a sense of, I guess I would say peace, just like knowing that even though there's been some difficulties and some challenges of being somewhere new, and definitely feeling growth in a lot of areas for both of us, but just seeing just kind of that peace of knowing this was what God wanted us to do, and this is where we're supposed to be at this time. So even in those hard moments when you kind of able to take a step back and be like, yeah, this is hard, but like there's so much good coming out of it. And so I guess that's kind of just been our overwhelming feeling of like, it's hard, but it's good. And you need that sometimes.
Well, I think that whether it's me, Danny, you, I think thousands of people can resonate with the idea of having to take scary steps. And
Yeah.
you have to take a move or make a move and figure it out as you go. And you're kind of building the plane as you fly, kind of scary stuff. But that's really where our faith gets challenged. Not only, for us to say God is the direction to go, but then how do we proceed together in that? With her being more like, hey, I like the stable. It's always been the same. I'm not a huge fan of change. And you're like, I'm a little bit more used to it. You get to kind of come alongside her and help with that. But she can also come alongside you and stabilize, right? And say, hey, let's create some longevity for this thing. So I think there's something really to be said about people having to take steps of faith and having, like you said, people around them to do that thing. That's really powerful.
Yeah. I think it's in big ways and small ways. Um, Over my shoulder, you can't see it, but we have a monthly calendar that she's got everything written on, which is very not me. But she likes to, hey, this is happening on this day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that those big things and small things.
I like that she puts it out in the open because you can't make an excuse and say, "Oh, I forgot. I didn't know about that." It's like, no, it's right there. You walk past
Yeah.
it.
You don't act like you didn't know. Yeah.
I was gonna say that's the quintessential. That's my house too. She's got everything on the calendar, and she always said, "Did you look at it?" No.
Yeah.
I was just assuming I knew what was going on today.
Yeah.
That's right. We all. It sounds funny. It sounds like we all married the same person. Thankfully, we have people who can get us two places on time, even in scrambles because we forgot about it. So that's really exciting.
Yes, exactly.
Amen. Shane, so you talked about, and I know everybody has probably been through this. I would wish it on nobody, getting to a new place and trying to build community, but that's something we certainly want to talk about, and what we're trying to build here. So I'll just jump in and ask, what was your first touch point to Restoration Club? And obviously you got to be a little more integrated a few months back before the end of the year too.
Yeah. So I was thinking about it today. I think my first kind of, I guess, touch point or time seeing it was, I think I had followed Jeff on Instagram, and
as we all
kind
do.
Kind of by following him, kind of saw something, Restoration Club. And I was like, that sounds kind of interesting. And kind of, then I think I followed the account and kind of saw what it was about. And I was like, man, this is really cool. There's all these little niche kind of golf things that I feel like we all get into, but being believers, you kind of are always, you're looking for something that kind of has that, like, I guess that base to it and that foundation, because there's so many different, communities to be a part of, and not always shared values, especially on the golf course, with different ways that some people like to be on the golf course. And so, but I think that was kind of the first thing. And I just was like, ever since I saw it, following anyone who, was tagged in anything, and then kind of just slowly built kind of that community through different people on Instagram, which led to me being, at Builders Cup. So
we'll talk through that. I know you got a chance to be there. I love the fact that I was unaware of you, had not met you before, met you on the putting green even before the fact, and was just trying to fully digest this young gun, Shane Wood, coming all the way over from Arizona to North Carolina to play some golf with a group of guys that he hadn't met before. So take us through, I guess, that headspace and that decision, and then what it was like once you got there.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I guess it maybe just speaks to my mindset, but I was like, hey, there's this thing that, like, there's going to be like-minded people, and it's an excuse to go somewhere really cool and play some golf. And, really beyond that, I didn't think too much of it. Jeff was really kind of the only person that I had talked to, before getting there, and had kind of messaged with him and kind of was interested in it. And he was like, yeah, you need to come out, and that would be great. And I didn't really think too much of it until I got there and was meeting everyone. I was like, okay, like there's a lot of people from North Carolina, not a lot else. Before getting there, I got connected with Rocket Man and Nick. They ended up picking me up on the morning of, because I was staying somewhere kind of by the airport. And so, it was kind of interesting. I showed up and I was like, okay, I guess I'm the odd man out that's not, from right around here. And, I guess beyond that, I just didn't really think too much of it, but it turned out to just be a super awesome experience. Everyone was, so overwhelmingly welcoming, and immediately felt just connections with so many different people. And, that only grew over the couple days of being there.
Well, I think it's cool that, like, you mentioned, like, from around here, but honestly, we started to peel it back, and there's Nick and Merb are from the Space Coast of Florida.
Yeah.
Kevin Matley's, he's from up there in Chicago. We've got you out
Yeah.
there in Arizona. Yeah, Danny and I are kind of localized with Dave
Yeah. A
and
couple of
some
them.
other
Yeah.
guys who are out there. But you start to realize like people were making this move to be at this thing, like in
Yeah.
the middle of like nobody knows where Asheboro, North Carolina is. And if you're in
Yeah.
North Carolina, you only know Asheboro because that's where the zoo is. And so you're like, oh, the state zoo is in Asheboro, and you don't realize that there's this absolute gem of a golf
Yeah.
course in Tot Hill Farm. It's just
Yeah.
so. Tell us what your impression of Tot Hill was.
Oh my goodness. It was everything I hoped it would be and so much more. And, like anything, it becomes so much better to experience a place like that when you do it with people who you enjoy being around. And that sounds kind of funny to say because there was a bunch of people that I hadn't met, but it was very quickly like, I'm really glad that I'm here with these people. Yeah, Tot Hill was just gorgeous. I mean, views for days. The routing was just so interesting. Seeing how they were able to patch it together and bring kind of the Strance design back to life a little bit. And yeah, I was like going between that back and forth of like, I just want to take it in and enjoy it, but I also want to like have my phone out and take a picture and videos of like everything. So that back and forth was kind of interesting throughout the day, but luckily we had a lot of very talented people on cameras, so I didn't have to worry about it.
True.
Very true. Yeah, I was going to say, quick shout out Tot Hill Farm. Anybody listening to this, if you have not been there yet, fully restored in the last year. As Shane said, on Mike Strand's design, unbelievable layout and
Yeah.
kind of off the beaten path. But if anybody's headed to the American Home of Golf in Pinehurst, go about an hour south and you're going to want to check that out.
Yeah.
Incredibly.
So then, Shane, obviously you got to North Carolina to take part in a Builders Cup and a Restoration Club event. Where did the game start for you? What was the entry point to playing?
I played, I guess I would say kind of like growing up, kind of like like most people, you play maybe once or twice a summer and, go with your dad or whatever. And so played very kind of sparingly growing up. And then there was about, a year or so, or like a little bit under a year where I was living in Salt Lake City, and I was there I was living just with a friend of mine. We were working on, starting like a sports media company thing that ended up kind of falling apart. But I really got started like there, just going, and I would go to the range by myself. I had like just a thrown together bag, and it just kind of became something to do, and it kind of just became like a place to go and kind of check out and be by myself, and just yeah, it was just really relaxing, and kind of through that just kind of continued and built kind of year by year, and kind of ended up getting one of my older brothers. Kind of, he had played kind of a little bit more, kind of sparingly, with grandpa, and got him back into the game, and so it just kind of built from there into where it is now, which is like a borderline unhealthy obsession type thing. So, like all of us, I guess.
Well, if that's what sparingly looks like with your swing, that's pretty ridiculous. I'm pretty mad at you for the fact that you crush a ball the way you do, and it's pretty crazy. You and I played at Talamore on that Sunday, and with Ward and Merb, and it was just such a fun. It wasn't even just about the fun part of the golf course, or even playing golf. I think it was just the fun of the easiness of it all. It was like so casual and laid back and connecting. And again, we had just met 24 hours earlier. And it was like,
right.
This is cool. We were housed up at the old church at Pinehurst. Like, oh yeah, this is great. Next thing you know, we're at breakfast. Next thing you know, and within 24 hours, it's like you create these lifetime bonds. And that's only, guys, we can only give credit to God in this. Like, there's no other people connect that way. Other than when the spirits are tied together and saying, hey, you're my people. And so I really appreciate that we were able to have that connecting time together, just because it was it was just fun, man. It was like all these crazy things happening, and the course itself was wild, and just it was such a, man, you look back at how fast the weekend was, but it felt like so much happened over the course of that time, which again connect us back and forth to all these pieces. So it was awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny how that happens, and I couldn't agree more. It's just when you share values and you have that just connected piece and almost, just the spirit of God is kind of in a way on the whole weekend and just connecting people. It's yeah, you're like, you walk away, you're like, oh yeah, I actually only spent I've only been around these people for like a couple days, but I feel so connected. I mean, I haven't talked to you guys very much since we left, here and there. But as soon as you guys popped up on the screen, I'm like,
yeah,
oh yeah, it feels like just picking up with old friends,
Yeah,
which is
100%.
very cool.
That is the Restoration Club. It is the ability for people to feel connected, to be connected, and to know that we're connected with a greater mission than just golf. Golf is a beautiful game, and the beauty of it is only met in the creation of everything, which is all in the beginning of God making it all. And here we are getting to do this together, whether it was following an Instagram post from Jeff early on or somebody catching that video that still gets a ton of play. It's wild. Like, people still watch that original video we ever put out, and it still draws them in to follow, to join Discord, to be a part of this thing that sometimes they don't even know what it is, but they just they're craving, they're hungry. They're like, I love golf. I love Jesus. Yeah, let's do this thing. So I'm glad you get to be a part of that, that metamorphosis that we're going through in the cocoon stage into this blossoming butterfly. That's just a beautiful thing. I'm poetic tonight, boys. Very poetic.
I was going to say, a notebook and some pens and write down some of these lines.
Love it.
Ryan, you kind of hit on it, and Shane, you hit on it a little bit too. Not to put you on the spot. I mean, to anybody listening to this, I feel like we continue to remind ourselves of what this really is, and seeing how many people are getting involved or just showing interest. I mean, what would you tell to anybody based on what you said previously of it's just not either common in the golf community? And the flip side of that, I think that I always remind myself of is, no matter where people are on their faith journey, it feels like there's a lot of guys out there that are willing to say, hey, I'll go play 4 hours. I'll hop out on a golf course and meet some guys. So, I mean, what would you say to those guys in terms of guys looking for a community, or maybe just curious about, where they are in their faith journey as well?
Yeah, I would say, I would describe myself as somewhat of an introvert, and I would describe myself as, I'm totally fine to go to the range by myself or go play 9, go play 18 by myself. But I think that there's also something hardwired in us that looks for community and craves it. And sometimes harder for guys, I think, to get out of just the rut of whatever habits you've created. And so I think whether you're someone who's, been a believer for a long time, or you're someone who's just new to faith, like, what better thing to get out and have something that you can go spend time with guys that share the same values, and you just have that something to bond on, rather than just like meeting someone and you're like, hey, let's go get coffee, which is great, but sometimes that can be just meeting someone or guys for the first time, that can be somewhat intimidating. But if you have something like golf, it just, I think, becomes, something with Restoration Club that God is using as a vessel to impact lives. So it's like, kind of makes it easy, I guess, would be my thing. Like, but you just got to take the jump. And, that's kind of what I tried to do, I guess, with Restoration Club.
For sure.
You're expanding the footprint out there. We were essentially born and bred in Tennessee and North Carolina, and moving around this country and across this world of people finding out about this, meeting up with it, we just had a bunch of guys converge on Cabot Citrus down in Florida, and for another unbelievable meetup. But it was just like that same type of energy of people craving connection. And some of those guys honestly aren't believers. But the fact is they were there, and they couldn't help but know. I know this. They couldn't help but see the difference in guys as they connect in. And that's the thing that somebody would draw someone in a second. And it makes complete sense in how this works so well.
Yeah, I think you could feel that, that kind of connectiveness of, the difference of some of the restoration stuff is say, like, you get in a cart with someone and they're asking you about, how's life going, or how's your wife, or how's the kids, and it's just those kind of things, that intentionality that so many people in the restoration club community have is so much deeper than, there's times I've played golf with people that I know, or people or maybe, someone I'm meeting for the first time, and they're totally fine to, like, not talk for the whole round. Like, everyone's just can be in their own world. But when you find people who have that same intentionality, like, it's a special thing.
That's good. That's a good word.
I've definitely been in those rounds before where all you hear is a good shot, or you'll find that, and it's a completely different round when you actually get to lean in a little bit.
Yeah.
And Ryan, you hit on it too, and Shane, you started too as well. And just to peel back the onion a bit more, we also heard about the meetup at Cabot Citrus Farms, and it wasn't just guys getting together to play the game. There was moments where, together on a tee box, the guys prayed over a guy who had a family member that recently went through a heart attack, and then another guy, let's just be real, had someone close that had committed suicide not too long before that. And so I love the mentality that it's not just guys coming together to play the game, but they feel safe enough to bring those things to the group too, and feel like it's a community that wants to pray over those things. And I think those are the things when you walk away from the round, you probably remember playing together, but you remember that just as much. And you're probably going to have similar moments, right, going through life where you're going to want to bring those things back up to that same group of guys, beyond scheduling the next round.
Yeah, I think it kind of brings something to mind about, I think it was Ryan who had said it when might have been when we were on the back porch at Tot, but I think you had just said, like, there's guys who are meeting for the first time, or maybe they had met for the first time at the first Builders Cup. But if you had something serious happening in your life, or you had an emergency, like, these would be some of the people that you reach out to, whether it be for prayer or needing something. And that was my experience. Like you're saying, those end up being the people that you go back to when you have things. And I think kind of strange to say with people that I only met for one extended weekend, but if I had something, like, I would probably go to, some of these people that I had met at Restoration Club, at the Builders Cup. So,
yeah. So when are we doing the Arizona meetup? Let's get it. Let's make it happen.
If you guys can handle the heat, we can get some cheap tea times.
That's right. That's exactly. It's almost like free, guys. Just go out there and just don't die. That's the only rule.
Hey, just don't die. Just make it to the next water stand. You'll be all right.
One thing I did want to, you were talking about, like, the way the community can lean on each other in RC, and I think it's okay to share the story. I just know that there was a guy who wanted to go to the last thing, and he's in ministry, and money was tight because some things happened with kids and all this other stuff. And the community just banded around that, and guys were, like, throwing money in to get this guy there, and he got to plan an amazing experience and be a part of it. So it's, like, such a cool opportunity for us to demonstrate how important community is. And again, how some people had no idea who the person was, or they didn't have any idea. They just knew that there was need. And that's the type of people we have in the club. Is like, this is an all-inclusive piece, but there are people who are all about others first. And that's just a model we get from Jesus. So I love that we carry that out so well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should we go to it? Is that where we're at right now?
Man, we're getting meaty, but we always got to get to this question. You know that.
I got you. So Shane, obviously this is one we always want to ask everybody. What is your favorite memory on a golf course not involving a golf club?
Involving a golf club, I think. Obviously, I've listened to the podcast, so I knew this was coming. So it's like the big $1 million question that you've got to have an answer for. I was just thinking about it, and I think back in Montana before we moved, probably 5 minutes from my house was just this little kind of local muni, just a a city course. And one of my older brother who we ended up playing a lot over the past couple of years, getting back into the game. He didn't live too far from me. So a lot of times, like towards the end of the day, we would meet up, and basically just, play Twilight, get as many holes in as we can. But we always like to walk, because summers in Montana are just, they're so perfect and amazing. And you just get a lot of days you're kind of playing in that perfect temperature where it like feels like there's no temperature. But he had, or has for the past couple of years, kind of been going through some difficult personal stuff. And so golf kind of became like this area that we could bond, but it kind of became, I guess just an area that we could bond and that things could kind of get put to the side for a minute. And so when I was thinking about it, I would say I don't have one singular moment, but I have all of these moments that are pieced together and connected with each other, of walking down a fairway with your brother and just talking about life and just being there for him as he's going through these things. And, even more so him being there for me and me being able to see how he relied on God and was so strong for his kids. And just a lot of those moments come to mind, of walking down a fairway with my brother, talking about life, praying for him or praying for each other, as the sun's setting and you're just trying to get in as much golf as you can. And so I think those are things that'll always be in my mind, of not, hey, I had a hole in one here, or I hit this amazing drive, or I chipped in here, or, those are the moments that are really why, I love golf, getting to spend time with the people you love and people that you have same, I guess, values and things like that. So that's probably the number one thing that comes to mind, but probably not a exact specific moment.
Oh, I disagree. I feel like I just walked down the fairway with you and your brother. That was awesome, man. Cause like, that is it. I mean, there are moments I can think of in card store while walking, or even in the clubhouse, just talking to people and having these moments that happen, of even walking out to drop my clubs in the car and then go back in. And as I'm out the car, somebody sees the bag tag or the club head cover and they say, "What's this RC thing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm glad you asked." You know what I mean? So it's like, those are those moments where, again, it had nothing to do with swinging or shooting a low score, because frankly, I don't have any of those. But more importantly, it's that we have that opportunity to really experience something special because of golf. And it always typically involves someone else, whether it's us with people in direct contact, or it's us in a communal walk with God down a fairway, and we get to connect on that piece. So yeah, it's a beautiful story, Shane. I love that.
I was going to say, you definitely drew me in. I think you might need a Dave Bazin painting of you and your brother walking down one of those fairways. I'm not going to commission him live on a podcast, but
hey, that might need to happen.
Fire. That's pretty awesome. That's a great idea. I love that. Well, Shane, man, you have been a breath of fresh air as we've kicked off 2024. You have set the bar high. I think one of my favorite things is, man, you're just a baby. You're 26 years old, man. You're just living life. You're just out here, man, having a great time. But it's really cool. You have wisdom and maturity beyond your years is evident. I'm thankful for this conversation we've been able to have together. Watching and listening to you, kind of how you carry yourself, the way that you move is really important to me, to us, to the community. And we're thankful that you are who you are and that you joined us for this, man. So we just appreciate you.
Oh, thank you guys. I feel very grateful to have met all of you guys and to be so quickly and just welcomed into a community of such amazing guys, and you two are at the forefront of that. So thanks for having me on, and we'll get to the Kings talk and that on maybe some kind of like a spin-off episode, or we can get
No,
into some
no.
deep
In
stuff.
fact, we
But
got a chance. We got a chance right now, Shane. Who are the top 3 kings of all time in your opinion? I'll go
oh man,
first. I'll
okay,
go first. Number
okay,
1. This is Ryan's opinion. Number 1 is
okay,
Mitch Richmond.
okay.
Number 2 is Chris Webber. And number 3. Number 3 is white chocolate, baby. Let's go.
Yes.
There it
Yes.
is. Elbow passes everywhere. Oh man, yeah, top 3. It's got to be C-Web's at the front for me.
Yeah.
Just you think Sacramento Kings basketball, you think Chris Webber.
Yeah.
White chocolate's 2, just for the wow factor of it. Same thing. You think Sacramento Kings, you think white chocolate elbow pass, you think all the crazy passes. 3, I got to go Bibby. I mean, those series against the Lakers, all that stuff. Like you said, I'm number 1 Kings fan, but I'm also the only one. So I don't want to make the Kings talk go too long here at the end. Otherwise, people are going to stop listening.
You got to own it. I appreciate it.
Outside looking in, we got Sabonis. We've got, I believe, Olden Polynice probably played for at some point for the Kings.
Yep,
we got
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was Scott Pollard out there at one point?
Yes.
You know Scott Pollard was out there making moves.
Oh,
No
yeah.
excuses. That guy was killing
I
it.
think he had frosted tips at one point.
Exactly. I can see the jerseys and I can see the hair. Exactly.
That's right. That's good. See, look at that. Who would have thought that
we could go
this
that deep
would have
on
been
Kings players? Who would have thought?
I mean,
Kings players.
I got to stand up for my guys.
Rick
So.
Adelman. That's right. Hey, it's good. You're living your best life out there right now, so it's good.
Yeah, doing my best.
That's awesome. And we will all, one little plug. Hey, everybody, go ahead, go to NBA.com, vote for Sabonis and Fox to get into the All-Star game. Shane needs your votes. He's trying to get his players in.
Yeah, it was good. It was tonight. It was good we recorded this tonight and not tomorrow when it gets announced, just in case they didn't get in. That would be a good podcast episode.
Love it. Well, no pressure, man, but fully expect us to be coming your way. You better be getting ready. The chapter should be alive and strong by the time we hop out there.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, Shane, thanks again, man. We appreciate you.
Thanks.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man.
Bye.
Later.
All right, guys. Well, that was episode 1 of season 2. Like I said, young gun Shane Wood. What a guy. Ryan, I think we've already both joked when we grow up, we want to be Shane Wood.
Yeah. I mean, he's now my mentor. He's my rabbi. We're going to figure this out. Appreciate you, Shane.
I hear you. Loved having him on. Looking to line up a lot of great guests for you guys for the continuation of season 2. Discord's been popping off. Ryan, we talked about it. Guys, keep jumping in there. New chapters continue to pop open. But also love seeing all the guys in their own respective markets, interacting with each other, setting up time to go play. Had an amazing group, like we said, with Shane. Played Cabot Citrus Farms recently. So wanting to see that continue. Always follow us on Instagram, restoration_club, restorationclub.co. Check out what's going on there too, guys. We appreciate you listening. We'll be back with more. Until next time, Ryan, keep swinging.
Keep swinging.